walk away from everything else that has been distracting them, delaying them, confusing them, or keeping them from fully giving themselves to this connection. What is coming through right away is that they can no longer pretend this bond is something small. They have tried to manage it, reason with it, maybe even run from it at times, but their heart keeps leading them back here, back to you, back to the truth, back to what they really want. The first card coming through is Judgment. So right away, this is telling me that this person is going through a major awakening. This is not little. This is not casual. This is someone being brought face to face with what they feel, what they lost, what they almost let slip away, and what they need to do now if they want to make this right. I feel like they have been sitting with a lot of inner noise for quite some time, trying to sort themselves out, trying to understand their own heart, trying to figure out whether they were really ready to choose love in a serious way. And now they are reaching the point where the answer is becoming very clear. They are. Because what I feel here is that this person has spent enough time standing in the in-between, enough time delaying, enough time keeping one foot here and one foot somewhere else. And that energy has become exhausting for them. They cannot keep splitting themselves in different directions anymore. They cannot keep entertaining what does not truly fulfill them, while also carrying this depth of feeling for you. So Judgment is bringing in a final call, a final realization, a final inner reckoning where they are understanding that if they want peace, if they want truth, if they want real love, then they have to stop hesitating. And I want to say this very clearly. I do feel an apology attached to this awakening because as they are seeing the truth about you, they are also seeing the truth about themselves. They are seeing where they were inconsistent, where they were confusing, where they let fear or outside noise or other attachments get in the way of what was actually real. So for many of you, this confession is not only going to be romantic, it is going to be remorseful. I feel this person wants to tell you that they know they made things harder than they needed to be. They know they created distance where there could have been closeness. And I feel they are embarrassed by some of their own choices now on your side. The next card coming through is the Queen of Cups. So your energy is still showing up as deeply loving, deeply intuitive, and very sincere. You may have sensed for a while that something bigger was happening beneath the surface. Even if this person gave mixed signals, even if they wavered, even if they made you question at times where this was truly going, I feel your heart has known there was more here, not because you were imagining things, but because the connection itself has been speaking very loudly to your intuition. At the same time, I feel this situation has made you more careful. You still have love, you still have compassion. But I do not feel you are willing to pour endlessly into confusion anymore. There is more wisdom around your heart now, more discernment, and that matters. Because if this person comes in with a confession, they are not meeting the old version of you, they are meeting someone who still feels deeply, yes, but who also understands that real love must come with clarity, consistency, and courage. The next card showing up on their side is the Eight of Cups. Wow. Yes, this is exactly what I was feeling. They are walking away from everything else. But what I need to say here is that this does not only mean other people for everyone. For some of you, yes, there may have been outside options, outside distractions, or emotional entanglements that kept this person divided. But for many of you, what they are truly walking away from is their old way of coping, their avoidance, their emotional immaturity, their habit of leaving things unfinished, their tendency to search everywhere else instead of facing what was right in front of them. So this is powerful because the Eight of Cups is not random movement, it is intentional departure. It is someone saying, this no longer works for me, this no longer satisfies me, this no longer aligns with my heart. And I feel they are starting to understand that everything they once used to escape this connection has only left them feeling emptier. Nothing else compares in the same way. Nothing else feels as true. Nothing else feels like home. And this is why the confession is growing louder now, because the more they walk away from the false, the more they choose you. The next card coming through is the Six of Swords, and this is telling me that they are making a real transition. Now, this is not just emotional talk. This is not just someone sitting in regret or fantasizing about what could have been while doing nothing about it. The Six of Swords is movement away from turbulence. away from noise, away from the confusion that has been surrounding their heart for so long. So I feel like this person is finally understanding that peace is not where they have been trying to find it. Peace is with truth, peace is with honesty, peace is with choosing what actually matters. For many of you, this person has been living in a state of inner conflict. Even if they looked fine on the outside, even if they acted distracted, unavailable, stubborn, or uncertain, inwardly, I feel like they have been exhausted, because when someone keeps resisting what their soul already knows, life starts feeling heavy. Things stop flowing the same way. There's this constant friction, and I feel that is exactly what has been happening with them. They have been trying to carry on while ignoring what keeps calling them back to you, and it has not been working. What is beautiful here is that the Six of Swords feels like relief, like they are finally tired enough of their own resistance to let it go, tired enough of the mental loops. Tired enough of the emotional chaos, tired enough of trying to stay where their heart no longer belongs. So yes, I really do feel they are leaving something behind. And for some of you, this is going to happen more quietly than you expect. It may not be dramatic on the outside. It may simply be a deep internal decision where they realize, I cannot keep doing this. I know where my heart is. I know who I want. The next card showing up is the Page of Cups. So here comes the softness, here comes the tenderness, here comes the energy of someone who has something heartfelt to say, but may still feel a little shaky in saying it. And I have to tell you, this confession does not feel cold or rehearsed. It feels vulnerable. It feels sincere. It feels like someone trying to gather the courage to finally let their heart speak after keeping so much inside. For many of you, the apology is going to come through this softer opening. Not necessarily all at once, not necessarily in one perfect speech, but in a way where you can feel that they mean it. I feel this person wants to say that they know they were not easy to understand. They know they sent mixed energy. They know they left you trying to read between the lines when they should have been clear, and I feel shame around that, not in a dramatic way, but in a real way, in the way someone feels when they know they hurt a person who did not deserve to be hurt. And what keeps coming through is that they are not only sorry for the confusion, they are sorry for making you feel like you were not chosen sooner. That message is coming through very strongly. Because I feel this person knows that one of the deepest wounds here was not just the waiting, it was the feeling that they kept standing at the edge of a decision instead of stepping fully toward you. And now they are beginning to understand how painful that was. They are beginning to understand that love cannot thrive in half measures. It cannot bloom properly when one person is always wondering where they stand. So this apology carries more weight than just, I'm sorry. It carries an awareness of what their indecision cost. The next card I am seeing is the Empress. Wow, this is how they are seeing you. They are seeing your value so clearly now. Your warmth, your beauty, your softness, your depth, the way you nurture, the way you care, the way your energy lingers. I feel like this person has reached a point where they can no longer deny how significant you are to them. You are not just someone they feel drawn to, you are someone they deeply admire, someone they see as rare, someone they know they do not want to lose. And what is so interesting here is that the more they step away from everything that is misaligned, the more obvious your place in their heart becomes. It is like clearing away noise and finally hearing the real song underneath it all. That is what this feels like. They are hearing the truth now. And the truth is, they want you. In the next part, we are going to go deeper into the confession itself, what they may try to say, and how this choosing energy may start becoming visible in the real world. Because I feel the turning point is already here. They are not only feeling the pull anymore. They are starting to surrender to it, and I keep feeling this clearly. Once they make this choice in their heart, everything shifts. There is less hesitation, less wandering, less divided energy, because when someone finally stops running from love, their whole presence begins to speak the truth before their mouth does. The next card coming through is the Lovers, and this is where the confession becomes impossible to separate from choice, because the Lovers is not only about deep feeling, it is about alignment. It is about someone standing at a crossroads and finally understanding what their heart has been asking of them all along. So, what I feel strongly here is that this person is no longer satisfied with simply feeling for you in silence. They are being pulled toward a real decision, a living one, a spoken one, a choice that has to be made in the open for many of you. They have tried to keep this connection in a hidden place, not necessarily because it was false, but because it was powerful. Because once they fully admit what you are to them, they also have to let go of whatever has been keeping them half available. And that is exactly what this energy is showing me. They are realizing that they cannot keep holding on to what drains them and still expect to receive the love that is waiting with you. Something has to be released. Something has to be left behind. And I feel that realization is becoming clear. The next card showing up is the Seven of Swords. So I do need to say this carefully. This does not feel like current deception in the same way it might in other readings. What it feels like here is avoidance. It feels like a person who has not been fully honest with themselves. And because of that, they have not been fully honest with you either. They may have worn a mask of indifference. They may have acted more casual than they really were. They may have kept things vague, moved strangely, or hidden what was going on in their heart because it felt safer than being direct. But the problem is that strategy is no longer working. Because I feel like the more they tried to keep their true feelings covered, the more restless they became, the more disconnected they felt from themselves. So this confession carries another layer. It is not only an apology for delay, it is also an apology for not being transparent, for not saying this matters to me, for not saying I am more affected than I let on, for not saying I have been struggling because choosing you means changing things I was not ready to change before. And honestly, that is why this part of the reading feels so intense. This is not just a love confession. This is a truth confession. The next card unfolding is the King of Cups. Wow, yes, their feelings run so much deeper than they have shown. This is someone who has a great deal inside of them, but does not always know how to express it at the right time or in the right way. They can hold oceans in their chest and still show you only a drop. So if you have ever felt that there was more there than what they were giving you, you were right, completely right. This person has been feeling at a much deeper level than they have allowed themselves to reveal. What I keep getting here is that they have loved in silence more than they should have. They have carried tenderness for you, desire for you, admiration for you, and a longing for emotional closeness that they kept trying to manage privately. They may have believed that if they stayed composed enough, they could stay in control. But the King of Cups does not lose his feelings. He contains them, and eventually contained feelings begin to press against the walls. Eventually, they ask to be known. Eventually, they start turning into confession. For some of you, this person may say something that surprises you because it is more vulnerable than anything they have said before. It may not come out perfectly. It may even come out in a way that is a little trembling, a little awkward, a little unfinished, but that is because it is real. This is the energy of someone finally opening a door they kept shut for too long. The next card I am seeing is the Two of Wands. So yes, they are looking ahead now. They are thinking about the future. They are thinking about what happens if they choose you openly. What changes, what they must walk away from. What kind of life this could become if they stop delaying and start committing to what they already know. And I feel that vision is becoming more attractive to them than anything they are leaving behind. That is important because it tells me they are not only pulled by emotion, they are beginning to see possibility. And that is why this confession is building. Because they know that if they keep waiting, they risk losing the future they can already feel with you. In the next part, we are going to look at how your energy meets this confession and what signs will show that they are truly serious this time. Because I keep feeling this strongly. They are done trying to outthink their heart. They are done trying to stay divided. And now that they see what they really want, they are getting ready to speak from a place more honest than anything they have shown you before. Now I want to go into your energy because this confession is not arriving to the same version of you that existed before. The next card coming through for you is the Queen of Wands. And this is such powerful energy because what I feel here is that you have been finding yourself again, maybe slowly, maybe through tears at times, maybe through moments where you had to pull your energy back from wondering, waiting, overthinking, and trying to understand this person. But you have been rising. You have been remembering your light. You have been reconnecting with your confidence, your beauty, your presence, your warmth, and that changes everything. This person can feel it too. They can feel that you are not small. They can feel that your energy is not something they can keep taking for granted. There is something very radiant around you now. And I feel like the more you have turned back toward yourself, the more they have started realizing just how much they stand to lose if they keep hesitating. The next card showing up is the Nine of Pentacles. So yes, there is independence here. There is this sense that you are no longer leaning on their potential in the same way. You may still love them. You may still want to hear this confession. You may still hope this can become something beautiful, but you are not crumbling without it. You are learning how to stand in your own life again. Because for some of you, this person got too comfortable believing your heart would always remain exactly where they left it. They underestimated what distance would teach you. So now, as they move closer to this confession, I feel they are also becoming aware that they cannot approach you casually. They cannot come in with half-truths, soft hints, or a little emotional breadcrumb and expect that to be enough. The energy around you is asking for more now, not in a harsh way, but in a real way. The next card unfolding is Strength. This is one of your strongest energies in this whole reading, because Strength says you have learned how to hold your heart with grace. You have learned restraint. You have learned composure. You have learned that loving someone does not mean chasing them into readiness. It does not mean abandoning your peace just because the connection is intense. And I feel like that lesson has changed you at a soul level. Moments where you could have accepted less than what your heart truly wanted just to keep this person near. But Strength says you did not fully give yourself away like that. Even in your softness, there has been dignity. Even in your pain, there has been self-control. And that is beautiful. The next card I am seeing is the Page of Pentacles. So this tells me that when this person comes in, you may not rush either. You may listen. You may feel them. You may take in what they are trying to say. But I do not feel you are going to throw yourself headfirst into fantasy. I feel you are going to look for sincerity, for consistency, for something tangible. You are going to want to see whether this confession has roots, whether this apology has intention behind it, whether this choosing energy can actually live in the real world, or whether it only sounds beautiful in an emotional moment. Because the truth is, this person may be deeply sincere now, but sincerity alone is not the whole story. There must also be follow-through. There must also be steadiness. There must also be a willingness to keep choosing you after the big words are spoken. The next card showing up between you both is the Magician, because it tells me there is real potential here to create something new. Transform the energy if both of you are willing to meet it consciously. The Magician says the connection is not powerless. The tools are here. The attraction is here. The feeling is here. The communication can come in. The future can begin to take shape, but only if the truth is handled properly. So what I get very strongly is that your energy is helping call this person higher, not because you are forcing them, not because you are chasing them, but because your growth is leaving them with no place to hide. They can feel that if they want you, really want you, then they have to come correct. They have to come with honesty. They have to come with heart. They have to come with a willingness to walk away from the old version of themselves that kept everything delayed. In the next, we are going to look at the action energy more closely, what they may actually do after this confession, and how you will know whether they are truly leaving the past behind for good, because I keep feeling this very strongly. Your strength has not pushed them away. It has made them see you more clearly. And now that they do, they are understanding that choosing you is not just about wanting you. It is about being ready to rise to the level of the love you give and stay there. Now let's go deeper into their action energy, because feeling is one thing, but what they do next is everything. The next card coming through is the Knight of Pentacles, and this tells me something very important. They are not coming in recklessly. They are not coming in just to release emotion and disappear again. This energy is slow, deliberate, grounded. And I actually like this more than fast movement because it shows intention. It shows someone who is trying to do this right. For many of you, this person has learned from their own inconsistency. They know rushing in and out, saying things they cannot sustain, disappearing when things get real. That pattern is what caused the damage before. So now I feel they are trying to move differently, more carefully, more consciously, more responsibly, even if it takes them a little longer to fully express everything. I feel they want their actions to match their words this time. And that matters because anyone can say something emotional in a moment, but not everyone can build something steady after it. The next card showing up is the Ten of Wands. So yes, they have been carrying a lot. And I do feel part of what they are walking away from is burden, emotional burden, mental pressure, situations that drained them, responsibilities that overwhelmed them, patterns that kept them stuck. For some of you, they were trying to hold too many things at once, too many distractions, too many obligations, too many unresolved issues. And instead of choosing clearly, they tried to manage everything and ended up exhausting themselves. But now they are realizing something very simple. They cannot carry all of that and also carry this connection properly. Something had to be released. And I feel they are finally putting things down. The next card coming through is the Eight of Pentacles. So this is where effort becomes visible, not just words. Not just emotion, effort. This person is going to start showing you in small ways at first that they are willing to invest time, attention, consistency. They may check in more. They may try to create space for you. They may start showing up in ways they didn't before. And I want you to notice this carefully because the Eight of Pentacles is not about grand gestures. It is about repeated effort, and that is what builds trust again. Not one big apology, but many small, consistent actions over time. The next card I am seeing is the King of Pentacles. Wow, this is a major shift because now we are moving from someone who was uncertain, divided, hesitant, into someone who wants stability, wants to provide. Who wants to build something real? And I feel like this is where the choosing you energy becomes very grounded, not just emotional, not just romantic, but practical. This person is starting to think, what would it actually take to make this work? How do I show up consistently? How do I create something that lasts? And that is a completely different mindset than before. Before, they were feeling, now they are planning, and that is powerful. The next card unfolding is the Four of Wands. So yes, there is reunion energy here, but not just reunion in the sense of reconnecting, reunion in the sense of stability, of building something that feels safe, mutual, balanced. Something that does not feel like emotional chaos anymore. For some of you, this could even move into something more serious over time. Because the foundation is changing, the intention is changing. And I feel like this person is realizing that if they want something real with you, they have to be real themselves. No more hiding, no more delaying, no more standing halfway in and halfway out. And I want to say this, you are going to feel the difference. Not because they say it, but because they are it. Because consistency has a different energy. Because presence feels different than absence. Because effort feels different than silence. And your intuition will pick up on that immediately. In the final part, we are going to look at the outcome and your guidance because this connection is shifting in a very real way. But your decision, your standards, your self-worth are what will determine how this unfolds. And I keep hearing this message clearly. They are not only choosing you, they are learning how to keep choosing you. And that is where everything changes. And now we come to the final outcome energy. And the next card coming through is Judgment. So this is the moment where everything becomes real, not just felt, not just imagined, not just carried quietly in the heart, but real in words, in action, in choice. Because judgment is the awakening. It is the call this person can no longer ignore. It is the truth rising so loudly inside of them that it starts shaking loose everything false, everything delayed, everything they were using to avoid this connection. And what I feel very strongly here is that they know now. They know who they want. They know where their heart is. They know what they almost lost. And I feel the apology is coming from that realization. The next card showing up is the Ace of Swords. Beautiful, because this tells me the confession is going to be clear. Not perfect, maybe, but clear. I feel like this person is getting ready to tell the truth in a way they have not done before, to cut through the confusion, to cut through the mixed signals, to cut through all the noise that once stood between you. And for many of you, this is exactly what your heart has needed. Not another hint, not another vague emotional moment, not another almost. You needed clarity. You needed honesty. You needed something that could finally let your spirit exhale. And that is what this energy feels like. For some of you, this person may say that they were afraid of how much they felt, afraid of what choosing you would require, afraid of letting go of old attachments, old distractions, old ways of coping. But I feel like they are finally understanding that holding on to all of that has cost them peace. It has cost them closeness with the very person their heart keeps reaching for. So the confession carries a release, a letting go, a surrender. It is them saying, I cannot keep pretending anymore. The next card coming through is the Two of Cups, and this is why the whole reading has felt so deep. Because this connection is mutual. The care is mutual. The pull is mutual. The emotional significance is mutual. Even if the timing was messy, even if the path became complicated, even if one of you was more expressive and the other more guarded, the bond itself has not been one-sided. But no, you did not imagine it. This was real. It is real. The next card I am seeing is the Eight of Cups. So yes, they are walking away from what no longer fits. Walking away from divided energy, walking away from emotional hiding, walking away from anything that asks them to betray what they truly feel. And I feel this is where the choosing becomes visible, because choosing you is not only about moving toward you, it is also about leaving behind what kept them fragmented. Leaving behind habits that made them unavailable, leaving behind people, situations, or patterns that no longer belong in the life they are trying to build. And I have to say that takes courage, real courage, because it is one thing to dream about love. It is another thing to clear your life for it. The next card showing up is Strength. This is your guidance. Stay soft, but stay strong. Stay open, but stay discerning. You do not have to shut your heart down to be wise, and you do not have to prove your love by accepting less than what is true. What I feel here is that this reunion can be beautiful, but only because you have grown into someone who now understands that love must meet you properly. You are not being asked to chase this. You are simply being asked to remain in your truth and let their actions reveal whether they are truly ready. I feel they are choosing, but the final message is this. Let them show you. Let the confession unfold. Let the apology carry weight. Let the choice become visible through consistency, through presence, through follow-through, because the love is here. The feelings are here, the awakening is here, and now the path is opening for something far more honest than what existed before. This person is choosing you, not halfway, not secretly, not in passing, but with the kind of realization that changes a life from the inside out. And I feel that once they speak, once they finally let this truth come forward, you are going to understand why nothing else ever fully settled between you. It is because this connection was never meant to stay unfinished. So yes, my love, there is a big confession here. Yes, there is an apology. Yes, they are walking away from everything else that no longer aligns. And yes, I do feel they are coming toward you with a heart that is far more certain now than it has ever been before. This is not the same energy as before, and you are going to feel that difference in your heart. This is the energy of someone finally realizing that love is not the thing they need to escape. It is the thing they are ready to choose. So this is the moment where everything becomes real, not just felt, not just imagined, not just carried quietly in the heart, but real in words, in action, in choice. Because judgment is the awakening. It is the call this person can no longer ignore. It is the truth rising so loudly inside of them that it starts shaking loose everything false, everything delayed, everything they were using to avoid this connection. And what I feel very strongly here is that they know now. They know who they want. They know where their heart is. They know what they almost lost. And I feel the apology is coming from that realization. The next card showing up